Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We're here with another wonderful week of science, and I have quite a bit to share with you this week, and I'm very excited about it. So last week we discussed inherited traits and what that meant and where we could find them, honestly. And we went through several examples that I would like to review with you today. Now, before we do this, I want to go over, as I said, some of the inherited traits we discussed last week, because some of you either were unable to complete the assignment or were confused by it. So I want to clear up that confusion right now so that it's not something we have to deal with as we continue throughout the week. Okay? Now, looking at these patterns, I have your seesaw slide up from last week up here. Now, looking at those patterns, first and foremost, what do you notice? I notice that many of these traits presented or photos represent things related to the body. Okay, which makes sense. Inherited traits are, again, the puzzle pieces that come together to make you. Your genes, your DNA comes together to make you and who you are. Those genes come from your parents. So if those, or a living organism's parents. Now, if you have genes coming from one adult or one parent and genes coming from another parent and they come together to make you, it makes sense or stands to reason that you are going to have traits, or whoever the offspring is going to have traits related to their parents. Okay? Now here, in this photo, again we see many things that are related to physical appearance or ability. Some of these are inherited traits, some of these are not. Now, starting in the upper left corner, stripe pattern is inherited. That comes down to coloring, and it would be just like hair coloring for us, and that comes down to genetics and is something one can get from a parent. Okay? Right below it, we have webbed toes. Are webbed toes genetic? They are. In Miss Jacobson's family, on my dad's side, there are some webbed feet, exactly like this photo, actually, where two toes are connected by skin up to that first joint, just like you see in the photo. Next to that photo, this way, we can see a little girl whistling. Now, is that an inherited trait, or is that just a skill one can acquire? That is a skill one can acquire, and that actually kind of leads us into our next topic of conversation. So I'm going to push pause on that. Right above it, we have the picture of two men and their hair. Now, the way someone's hairline does have an influence from genetics. So in the photo on the left, we can see the man's hair comes down to a point. That is called a widow's peak, and that is a genetic trait inherited from a parent. On the right-hand side, we can see that that gentleman does not have a widow's peak. Heading on over again, we can see a crazy yoga pose. Is that something that someone can inherit? Or is it something someone can learn how to do? That's something someone can learn how to do. That's not an inherited trait. Okay? And right below it, we see a bunch of different t-shirt colors. Are those influenced by someone's likes, something they like or don't like? Or does it come down to genetics and the way your body's created? That comes down to personal preference and something they like. I like this shirt because it's really soft and cozy and has nice long sleeves. Okay, and it happens to have a nice pattern. That doesn't come down to genetics. That comes to me and my personal choices. Okay, I hope this clears it up a little bit for you. And your assignment today, excuse me, I want you to discuss what makes an inherited trait an inherited trait. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll begin talking about our next topic of conversation. Bye, everyone.